Good evening and welcome. My name is Priyanka Ahnberg, and along with today, my co-host Anushada Jihan, I would like to welcome you to today's discussions. Today's we have a topic: history, truth, and the future of Bangladesh. Can a nation identity be rewritten? Every nation is built upon a story, its history, its sacrifices, its struggles, and the values that reshaped the birth of the countries. And we are not exceptionals. Our independence, our liberation war, and the contributions of countries, countless men and women, have helped to found the country that we have today. Yet today, many are asking difficult questions. Can a history be altered by a political change? Can a national memory be reshaped through institutions, textbooks, and public discourse? And what responsibility do citizens have in preserving the historical truth? To discuss these important questions, we have today's guest, Director of Global Justice Network Foundation, Kazi Mamun. Please welcome. We have a legal expert, Taposh Kanti Bal, and my co-host, Anushada Jihan. Before we further dive into our today's discussion, I would like to ask my co-host to present a data of slide that he has prepared for today.
Thank you, Priyanka, for connecting today. In 1971, 3 million people gave their lives. 200,000 women were exposed to inhuman brutality. And all of their sacrifice, all their blood, sweat, everything is at stake today. It all started in July 2024, August 2024, when the democratically elected pro-1971 Awami League government was ousted in a violent insurrection. And as a result of this ouster, various elements were unleashed into the society. And among those elements were the elements that are directly against the liberation war, the independence, and the very being of Bangladesh. And when they were unleashed, we have right after started seeing the brutality. In Voice of America interview, the so-called Nobel laureate, Dr. Muhammad Yunus, used the term reset. He implied that all the sacrifices, all the bloods and tears and sweat were a software error that could just be cleared by a reset. And right after he mentioned that term, at the same time, we have seen attacks on our freedom fighters, on memories, murals, sculptures, and whatnot. In these last 2 years, 25 targeted attacks happened on freedom fighters. These are reported, documented attacks, but the real number is much, much higher. In a latest spree of attacks, December last year, in Taraganj, Rangpur, Jogesh Chandra Roy, a 75-year-old freedom fighter, and his wife, Suborna Roy, were brutally hacked to death inside their home. They were hacked to death because of their identity as a freedom fighter. The freedom fighters of Bangladesh today are saying that these elements that were unleashed, they are making them feel like what they did in 1971 were a crime. Just imagine, Priyanka, that they are feeling that what they did, what they accomplished, are nothing but crime. Not only the living senior freedom fighters, they are not even safe in their grave. The graves of freedom fighters came under attack. The grave site that are booked for them, that are reserved for them, came under attack. Their properties came under attack. The freedom fighters of Bangladesh are not safe. At the same time, as I have mentioned, there were attacks on murals, sculptures, and memorials associated with the liberation war. The exact number is 1,494. Right after the ouster on August 5th, first they went for Dhanmondi 32, right? They set it ablaze. Dhanmondi 32 is the place where not only the father of the nation, Bangabandhu, lived, this is the place from where the independence of Bangladesh was born. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has said that whenever she was faced with dilemma in taking any complicated decision, she would go to this house, sit by the stairs where her father was brutally assassinated, and reflect upon how Bangabandhu would have taken that decision. And this house is a threat to them. They came after this house not only on August 5, and then they again came after this house on February 5, 2025. When they bulldozed the house, the government stood by, the military stood by, and some of the pro-government elements even cheered. Mujibnagar complex, where the first government of Bangladesh was formed. And the structure over there came under attack. Now, Priyanka, all this happened under the Yunus government, right? But then BNP government came. All these culture, all these memories are still at the same level. There's no activity of repairing those, restoring those. And as you can see, there are three photos. One is in Dhaka University, in Moymanshing, in Rajbari. So this is not any sporadic random attack. These are all a part of a coordinated campaign targeted towards altering the identity of Bangladesh. Just think the national anthem, Amar Sonar Bangla. After the transition of government, they are to change the national anthem of Bangladesh, the son of a Jamaat leader. And this type of attitude we have seen during the time of military dictator Ziaur Rahman. During the time of Ziaur Rahman, they also tried to change their national anthem. See the similarities? These are the anti-Bangladesh elements that are running free in Bangladesh today. What is most crucial and challenging and risky is that history of Bangladesh that is written in the textbook. These textbooks are being actively altered. Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the man who not only gave his life, his whole life was about Bangladesh, about the rights of the Bengali people. They are trying to take off his father of the nation title as if it is possible to take off. They are trying to undermine his contribution to the liberation war. And what can we expect when this convicted, death row convict of Jamaat Islam are running the show in the parliament, at the parliament? This is fairly common, this is fairly normal. They are trying to rid of our memory of intellectuals, the sacrifice of Bengali intellectuals, and everything associated with 1971. By everything, I mean everything. Look at the constitution. They are against the 1972 constitution. These kids, the Gen Z kids that became mainstream after this transition, they dare to talk against the constitution for which 3 million people gave blood. They talk about throwing this to the press. This is sedition. They should be brought to justice for these statements. So Priyanka, as you can see, everything associated with the liberation war, the 3 million martyrs sacrifice, our freedom fighters, our history, our memory, everything is at stake. And people, the generation before us, we and the generation after us, all have a collective duty to preserve Bangladesh, to preserve Bangladesh's history and identity, because a nation cannot survive without its memory. Back to you.
Thank you, Jihan Bhai. It was quite insightful, repetitive information that I think we need to hear, especially when they're in the middle of trying to reset and trying to reshape and try to rewrite the history. So for younger people, I can only imagine that it's very easy for them to be confused. Thank you again. So my next and first question, actually, I would like to ask to Tapas Kantipal. When we speak of Bangladesh national identity, what are the non-negotiable historical truths that every generation should know and preserve?
Thank you for asking this excellent question, because you know that it seems the new generation of Bangladesh is forgetting these memories day by day, and the state is playing no role in preserving those memories. Rather, the state has become a tool so that the new generation can forget these memories. So as a country which was found through a bloody struggle in 1971, it has a rich past which every citizen must know. You see, I don't want to, I will not go back very far, but we had a very rich Middle Age history. And then how we lost, I mean, when I say we, here, I mean the whole of South Asia lost their independence to the British ploy. And then how, through the Battle of Palasi, Bengal of that time lost their independence. And then how, for nearly 200 years, we were a British colony. Then came the moment of partition in 1947, in spite of the fact that the Lahore Treaty, if you remember, the Lahore proposal was for more than one state on the basis of religion. And however, we didn't get that. There was only one state on the basis of religion, which is Pakistan. And and after that, the struggle begins. The first struggle, the first strike that was made was on our language, which is part of our culture. So, and if you remember that, not only our language, the first attack came on Robindra Sangit, the songs of Tagore, because those were prohibited in East Pakistan, because they were said that they are they are a reflection of Hinduistic uh, rituals, and that's why the first attack came onto our language and our culture. Our father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, was a young person at that time, but in spite of that, he he protested against these kind of oppression, and he, along with all his followers at that time. So you see that led to the 1952 language movement, which is very important for our memory, because on 21st of February, Rohit, Salam, Barkat, Jabbar, they were killed for the right of our language. If they were not killed at that day, we probably would have been speaking in Urdu right now. Bangla may not be preserved. Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was in prison at that time because of his protest against these oppressive decision. And after that, there was this autocratic rule of Ayub Khan, Field Marshal Ayub Khan's autocratic rule, that, and also the comedy of errors in the Pakistan parliament, because Pakistan didn't have any constitution. There were political parties coming and going out, and all this created the field of this Ayub Khan's situation, and which led to the War of Independence of Bangladesh in 1971. I'm going very fast, because it's a huge history. It might take hours to describe, but in why we went to 1971, because there is this history of oppression and discrimination. I'm not going to get into details. The only thing I will say that Pakistan used to take raw materials from us, and then they used to produce things which we had to purchase at a higher price. There was famine in Bangladesh, which was East Pakistan at that time, and also job-wise, everywhere we were discriminated. So now in 1970s election, because of which was followed by 1966 declaration of 6-point declaration, 1969's movement, in 1970s election, Awami League got this overwhelming majority, and Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the father of the nation, he was supposed to be the prime minister of, of Pakistan. However, he knew that this is never going to happen. So under his leadership, all kinds of preparations were there so that Bangladesh can get into a liberation war. You know that on 2nd of March in 1971, the flag of Bangladesh was hoisted in Dhaka University. And then in 7th March, the historic speech made by Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. I always the time say that the call for independence, so that the nation can be prepared for this war, came through that historical speech of 7th of March. And after that, how Pakistan arranged all the soldiers to come into Bangladesh, and then getting connected with these right-wing Islamic political parties, Jamaat-e Islami, Nizam-e Islami, and other political Muslim League and other political parties, and how this led to 25th of March, they attacked Operation Searchlight. At the dawn of 26th of March, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman declared the independence of Bangladesh. And with his declaration, the whole nation started this struggle against the barbarous Pakistan and their collaborators, whom we know as Rajakar al-Badr al-Sams. Um, Now, the role of the present government, which is led not only by only BNP, we see BNP in front, but Jamaat is in the background, right? So from the July August 2024, this government, these policymakers, they are all are willing to delete these memories. Why they are trying to delete these memories? Because then these Jamaat Islamist memories will be deleted. The new generation will not know that what Pakistan did, what Jamaat, Nizami Islami, or Muslim League did to the people of Bangladesh. In the name of religion, the people were killed. Three types of people were killed in 1971. People must know these things from a very young age. For example, first of all, politically targeted Awami League people were politically targeted at that time. Then comes the Hindu people because of their religion and their affiliation with Awami League. They were targeted and killed. And then the third group of people were women because of their gender, because Bangladeshi people, Bengali people consider women as their assets, so women were targeted. And they thought that if women can be raped, women can be tortured and impregnated with their Pakistani seeds, then those will become Pakistan's pure citizens at one time. This was a blatant thing that people must know. And after that, the following 4 years, what happened? That in 1975, 15th of August, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, along with his family members, were brutally murdered. Again, Jamaat, BNP want you to forget these memories. You can ask why. First of all, Ziaur Rahman, the founder of BNP, was involved in this murder. And Jamaat-e Islami and other Islamist political parties, they were also involved. If you remember the speech Mostaq gave after killing Bangabandhu, he said, in the name of Allah, we are doing this. So that is the essence that Jamaat carries, which they want us to forget, the new generation to forget. Now, this is not the only thing that Jamaat wants you to forget. The Jamaat wants you to forget the national anthem. The Jamaat wants you to forget even our national flag, if they could, because every single thing they will make you remember these memories. They are pursuing right now to delete our constitution so that it can be changed. Why? Because the constitution, on the very first preamble, on the very first opening paragraph, it says about the high ideals of Bangladesh. As a citizen, you must know these high ideals, which are those: secularism, democracy, and socialism, and then the nationalism, which is Bengali nationalism. Right now, because of this, Jamaat Islami and BNP may not be like the people who are living in the in Chittagong hill tracts. They may not share the same nationality because of them, because it was Ziaur Rahman who started the infiltration of these Jamaatis and Muslim Leaguers into the hill tracts in 1977 onwards. So this is the things that we need to remember. They also want you to forget all about our culture, because if the culture is there, the culture talks about empowerment, culture talks about equality, but they want you to forget because they want to oppress women in the name of religion. So I will stop here because I have taken a lot of time. But the main thing that I will end with, that the new things they want to introduce right now is just obscenity. They want to introduce the version they have created of 1971, with which they have poisoned the minds of their young activists. So with this, I stop. Thank you for asking me this question.
Thank you, Dr. Fay. My next question will be for Kazi Mamun. As we have already seen, they have started to rewrite, the historical truth, and there is no factual base anymore. They're just making up their mind, and they have already started to touch the children's books. So my question to you would be: schools and textbooks play a major role, as we all know. It reshapes the nation's consciousness. What are the risks and historical events become politically contested in the educational material? Like, what happens? What is the pros and cons of it? Obviously, it's much more cons that we already know of.
Thank you, Priyanka. Very good observation from Tapushda, and like how you explained why they are doing it, what they are doing, and like very good explanation. Thank you. So that's basically like I'm trying to like relate to international context to your question, Priyanka, here. So if you see education, like how they are attacking our education system now, they know that education is one of the most powerful tools through which a nation transmits its values, like our identity, like our collective memory we still can like protest and challenge what they're trying to do because our freedom fighters are still alive, our parents are still alive, like we're living this memory still. That's why we can feel it. But imagine what's going to happen after 2 more generations. So like when historical events become like politically contested in textbooks, to answer your questions, and classrooms, 3 major risks actually can emerge from this. First of all, like society, we lose a common national narrative. Every successful nation, if you look, they have has a fundamental event that unite people regardless of their political affiliation. Look at the United States. They have the Declaration of Independence and Constitution, right? They have different political parties, different alliances, but they have their common like goal. India has its independence movement, right? South Africa, like you can look at the countries like other than Bangladesh too, right? How they are preserving their common goal. So secondly, I would say the historical. This is more like revisionism that can actually weaken democratic culture. So throughout the history, like in the world history, if you look at military regimes, this is not new. And it's not only in Bangladesh. Military regimes and unelected governments, they always have tried, frequently attempted to reshape any national history. Like it's not like only in Bangladesh it happened. I'll give you a couple of examples later. But we have seen in various countries that like historical facts were altered, omitted, and selectively presented to support political objectives. And that's what it is. Like to add to Tapushda's comments today, like such practices, for generations, people will suffer. It's not just like one-time like impact it has. It weakens a country itself. So third, like if you can look at our social division now, so it creates a social division. Like there is a slight chance that there can be a civil war in Bangladesh very soon, right? So this national identity being altered and being challenged in a way to create that crisis as well, to achieve their political goal. Like I said, like a couple of examples, I'll give you Germany. So look at Germany. They provide perhaps the strongest example of responsible historical education. Like after World War II, Germany chose not to erase or minimize its difficult past. German students studied Nazism and Holocaust extensively. And the purpose of this is not to assign like perpetual guilt, but to ensure like future generations understand how democratic institutions can fail and why protecting them matters. And similar situation in Bangladesh, this like we do need to preserve our history of 1971. We do need to preserve the history of Jamaat-e-Islami, those Rajakars, Al-Badrs, what they did to this nation. Exact same way, the way they are trying to erase, we should try to preserve. I'll give you another example. South Africa, they also offered like another important lesson for us. And like following their apartheid, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission documented their past, all of their past abuses, and openly and publicly. The country understood that reconciliation requires truth, not historical denial. Same thing happened in Canada, where I live. Similar situation, the oppression happened to the native people. Government is recognizing that, preserving that history. They are not trying to hide their past. So for Bangladesh, the lesson is like very clear, I would say. Historical facts and surrounding the like our liberation war, the sacrifices of our freedom fighters, and the events that led this independence, that united us as a nation, should be studied like honestly and preserved. Like, and debate is healthy. Like we can talk about like history, we can debate about it, but distortion the way it's happening right now, no. A nation like us, like we cannot build a stable future like our like fundamental history when it is becoming like negotiable. So thank you.
Thank you, Mahmoud Bhai. My next question will be to my co-host Jihan Bhai, as we were watching your slides, and you have given us so many insightful, very factual based information. So my question will be from there. We have seen nearly 1,500 sculpture has been destroyed. We have seen Thalmuni 32 has been bulldozed. We have seen freedom fighters are being chased down from their home, burned down their houses, destroyed, even from the grave. So they are actually nowhere safe. When a government stays silent as the founding memory of a nation being erased, what does that say about Bangladesh direction? Is it merely a political rivalry, or is it a deeply attempt to redeem what Bangladesh is? What is your thoughts on that?
Thank you, Priyanka. So to have a rivalry, you need a rival, right? Bangladesh Awami League is banned in Bangladesh. Bangladesh Awami League is not allowed in any sort of political activities. So to start by answering your question very directly, is that this is no political rivalry, because political rivalry happens between two groups. As you have seen in the slides, on one hand, the freedom fighters living and dead are under attack, and on the other, all the memories associated with 1971 are under attack. BNP and Jamaat, they are not rival. They are acting as the party in power and the opposition party in opposition, but they are the same fruit. And as a result, they are trying to rid Bangladesh of Bangladesh's identity. Our identity is directly tied with 1971. The issue of liberation war, our history, our independence, it is not a Awami League issue or a BNP issue. It is not a right issue or left issue. It is the issue of Bangladesh. A liberation war is not a property of any political party. It is the property of Bangladesh. So when the government is trying to actively alter what Bangladesh is, it clearly shows us the direction. As Mamun Bhai has stated, what is going to happen to two generations from now? 2 generations from now, if we can't preserve our history as it is, Bangladesh, as we know it, will be at risk. Two generations from now, people will not know where Bangladesh came from. They will not know about the sacrifice of the 3 million people. They will not know the sacrifice of the 200,000 women in 1971. And those are valuable, because a nation who does not know who it is cannot progress. And Bangladesh was on its track to achieve excellence. It was already achieving excellence because our history, our identity, all were preserved. So I would say that Bangladesh is heading toward a dark direction if we cannot alter this attack against our independence, against our very soul, against the soul of Bangladesh. Back to you.
Thank you, Jihan Bhai. My next question will be back to you again, Tapus Kantipal. From a legal and constitutional perspective, does a state have a responsibility to protect the historical foundation on which the nation was established? What do you think of that?
My analysis is that every country, especially those countries whose constitutions are written, they have this responsibility to preserve their history. Particularly, look at the Constitution of the United States, right? It starts with a preamble, and Bangladesh is the second country which has a preamble. And I would say that both the countries have a common thing, which is proclamation of independence, right? So the proclamation of independence is part of our constitution. Why? Because this is the memory that has to be preserved by the constitution. Now, it is without any doubt the constitution of Bangladesh bears the legal and moral legitimacy to preserve all the memories, all the histories, so that we do not forget. Especially the first two parts of the constitution, together with preamble, is actually the guiding beacon of how all the policies, including the textbooks, should bear, right? For example, the preamble, it states the high ideals, which I have already told you. It starts with the struggle, the bloody struggle of the people, so that the students, whoever reads this paragraph, can understand that in Bangla we say Rokto Snato Mukti Juddho, right? Ebong amader so that they understand this backdrop of our independence, and then they understand that why this war was necessary, because to attain the high ideals, which is again secularism, democracy, socialism, and our nationality. Now, after preamble, if you see the second part of the constitution is the guiding principles of the state. You will see over there the priority is given to the peasants, the farmers, the workers, and to the and it is written in the second part of the constitution that no political party can do politics in the name of religion. So these are the things that allows us to protect our memories, especially Article 24. It is about protecting all the monuments of the country and the historical spots, that you have to protect them. What we have seen in July and August, that these monuments and these historical places all being attacked, right? Like, for example, in Kushtia, Meherpur, where the first government took their oath, that was attacked and vandalized. They have vandalized all the figures and statues of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Again, the same conclusion, because those are the establishments or the proofs that what Jamaat and Pakistan did to Bangladesh. So they wanted to delete all of them. Not only that, if you go to the constitution and read Article 7B, capital B, which was added by 15th Amendment, it is clearly written there that no one, not even any government, can change the preamble, the first part, the second part, and the third part, which is the fundamental rights of citizens of Bangladesh. So no one can change those parts. So these parts are unamendable. Why these parts are made unamendable? So that you cannot touch the history, the core memories of a country. Why Kazi Mamun Bhai has rightly referred to the laws of Germany. Not only Germany, it is all over in the Europe. Why the right-wing political parties are struggling in Europe to get into power in spite of having a good amount of majority? That is because of those histories. Because whenever these right-wing political parties are there to grab power, other political parties comes together to preserve their history so that the autocratic regime cannot come back. So not only these principles or articles of the constitution, the Supreme Court of Bangladesh, especially in 3 cases, has categorically stated that you cannot touch the history, the core pillars of our history. In Anwar Hossain Chowdhury versus Bangladesh, which is the basic structure, if you remember, Ershad changed the formation of the Supreme Court, especially the High Court division. So then it was challenged, and in the judgment, which was again confirmed by the appellate division of the Supreme Court of Bangladesh, they stated that you cannot touch the core pillars of the constitution, which includes the preamble of the constitution. You cannot touch it. And then comes the Fifth Amendment case, which we know as Bangladesh Italian Marble Works Limited versus Bangladesh. In that case, again, the Supreme Court of Bangladesh held that the military rulers, again the Ziaur Rahman and Ershad, they disfigured the constitution. They destroyed the secular nature of the constitution. Through this judgment, the secularism was brought back into the constitution. In the preamble, the secularism came back because it is decided in this case that these are the principles that you cannot deny, you cannot delete from the constitution. If you do, then you are actually denying the history of Bangladesh. You are denying the principles on the basis of which Bangladesh was established. The last case that I'm going to cite is the historical 7th March speech case. Through this case, the 7th March speech was placed in the constitution of Bangladesh. It became a part of the constitution of Bangladesh. Why? Because I said in the beginning that this is the speech through which people became prepared. They became aware that they have to participate in the war of liberation. And this is the case through which the speech was made part of every textbook in Bangladesh. So you see that how Constitution, Supreme Court decisions contribute to the safeguard and protection of our histories. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. My next question will go to Kazi Mamun Bhai. Is the debate we're witnessing today truly about history, or is it fundamentally a struggle over Bangladesh's future political direction? How do you see it?
Interesting. I believe this debate is fundamentally about Bangladesh's future. History is often like where societies, they negotiate their future direction. Like if you look at around the world, disputes about monuments, museum, like national heroes or historical narratives are rarely just about the past. They are usually debates about national values and political identity. For example, following the collapse of Soviet Union, like many Eastern European countries removed communist symbols and re-evaluated public monuments. The debate was not simply about statues. It reflects broader questions about democracy, sovereignty, and also national identity. So similarly, South Africa's approach to preserve the memory of their past was directly connected to their building their constitutional democracy. In Rwanda's case, after 1994 genocide, memorials and education programs became central to rebuilding their national unity and preserving their future, basically preventing their generations from future violence, so they understand what happened to their ancestors and how they can actually learn and stay united as a nation. In Bangladesh, Bangladesh faces definitely its own questions. The liberation war was not only a military struggle for us. It represented the aspiration for democracy, the people, their self-determination, social justice, our cultural identity, and also a freedom from the oppressions we had from West Pakistan. So when symbols associated with the liberation war become the target for this targets for controversy, and the debate extends the physical beyond the physical structures, it's not only related to physical structure or historical personalities anymore. The deeper question becomes actually what principles should guide Bangladesh moving forward. So will Bangladesh continue to define itself through the ideals and that inspired our independence in 1971, or will alternative narratives like Hadi or 2024, the false revolution they tried to create, like that replacing our core values of freedom and independence, like our national anthem, to like everything, like how future generations understand the nation's purpose and identity, then like how they will. So for that reason, like I believe this discussion is not primarily about the past, or it is about the like the future that is actually coming for us. And that's why this reshaping what is taking place right now is very important, that we understand, like as scholars around the world, that like there's something happening in Bangladesh that like 200 million people will suffer for generations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mahmoud Bhai. While you were,
I would like to quickly add one thing before
of
you
course.
start. A Jamaat barrister Shahriar or something, I don't recall his name completely. He dared to say that in 1971, Bangladesh did not achieve an independence. And there is no repercussion or no action from any government or any other institution about this. So this is where Bangladesh is at today.
Yeah, I don't understand how he even gets invited to a national TV channel and how he's allowed to speak the way he speaks is quite embarrassing, even for the government that is running currently. And to what I was going to say to Mamun by your replies to my questions, we usually say revolutions, but I personally, I just want to call it was a long conspiracy. It was a terror attack. I believe in the future we will be writing factual history. It should be written very carefully what it was, because I don't think it was revolution. It was a massive, like Yunus have told us, it was a long conspiracy and pre-planned. So hopefully,
Terror attack. I think that's a good definition.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully that is what we'll be going by. Uh, my next question will be for Taposh Bhai, for you. Around the world, nations continue to debate how they remember their past, and what lessons can Bangladesh learn from other countries? Like how have they faced challenges and disputes over national identity and historical memory? What do you think we can learn from their mistakes or their error?
This is very interesting in the sense because there is not a single formula or single lesson that Bangladesh can learn. There are multiple lessons that Bangladesh can learn. For example, we all know Mustafa Kemal Ataturk of Turkey, and under him there was this absolutism, like ignoring other cultural heritages, and that actually boomeranged in the present situation, and the present anarchy that is going on in Turkey is a result of that. So in Bangladesh, we have to understand that there cannot be any absolutism which is enforced by Jamaat, which is enforced by right now BNP, because they have banned the political activities of Bangladesh Awami League. They are incarcerating the activists and the leaders of Bangladesh Awami League and rewriting the history as if nothing has happened in 1971. Number two is already Mamun Bhai has mentioned about Germany, which is institutionalizing truth beyond politics. Why this is important? Because if you leave it to the political parties, then you will see what going to happen. The thing that is happening in Pakistan and Bangladesh, you can see that political parties are providing their own narratives, and that is creating confusions to the future generations. But in Germany, they did not leave this historical memory to the whims of political parties. Instead, it institutionalized memory through independent bodies, strict academic frameworks, and structural constitutional locks. The remembrance of historical atrocities is integrated into the legal and educational fabric of the nation, completely insulated from electoral politics. So Bangladesh should do that. They should take these narratives away from the political parties, and there should be state bodies who should control these narratives and guard those political parties who want to write their own stories, right? And then let us talk about Spain and France. What happened in Spain? that one approach is that they were putting everything under the rug. They, after the death of Francisco Franco, they wanted to forget anything and everything about this dictator. So what happened, that the victims did not get justice. So the tension among the victim and the perpetrator was growing until they started the perpetrators to try them in a tribunal. So in Bangladesh, our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina was doing the right thing by establishing the International Crimes Tribunal under the International Crimes Tribunal Act of 1973. So under that act, these 1971 crimes committed by Jamaat-e-Islami and other cohorts, including Pakistan Army, that was going through this International Crimes Tribunal. But now they are using this International Crimes Tribunal for their autocratic purposes, because it is not being used. If you read the parliamentary debates of 1973, you will see that the only principle or only target of this International Crimes Tribunal, the only target of International Crimes Tribunal was to try the perpetrators of 1971. There was no other objective of this tribunal. In the France as well, after the Second World War, the Nazi perpetrators were being targeted randomly, and there was no justice, there was no format, So again, that created chaos. In Bangladesh, again, that International Crimes Tribunal provided a formal format for trying the perpetrators of 1971 and preserving the memories of the victims, that what they have lost. They had a forum, a platform to express their pain. But right now, there is no platform. Another thing that been already said about Canada and South Africa, that how they have managed pluralism within nationalism. So I'm not going to repeat that. So the main takeaway out of all these discussions is that we have to, there has to be multiple steps that has to be taken. First of all, there has to be state institutions to protect these historical truths. Then there cannot be absolutism, and then there has to be a format so that the past crimes can be addressed, as well as a format can be provided so that the victims can come to a forum and express their pain. That is very important for preserving the pain or the memory of past, and from which we must learn.
Thank you, Tabush Bhai. We are almost nearing end of our show, but we still have about 10 minutes. My last question would be to Kazi Mamun Bhai, to you. Beyond political parties and governments, what role should ordinary citizens like us, academics, journalists, young people, lawyers, engineers, how should our role be playing in historical preserving the truth? What do you think? Do you have any tips?
Thank you, Priyanka. The preservation of historical truth cannot be left solely to government and political parties. We have learned this from our past as well. There was attack on our even language, like Bangla, how we write using Bangla letters. There were practices started and enforced using Urdu. That's how we got to the situation that the oppression got to a level that our language movement turned into our independence. So our history is very closely related to our people, and people defended people. Our history proved that people are actually responsible for all of it, end of the day, because people, end of the day, we form government, we form political parties, and political parties and government, they come and go all the time. So everyone here, us academics, we play a very vital role in conducting rigorous research and preserving archives, verifying facts, and documenting historical evidence. Nowadays, it's easier when we have this digital access to all this information. You have noticed, maybe a few days ago, I released 15 editions of our national history, history of independence, and already thousands of people, they're getting access to it. And the question is, what we do from there. This is our history. This can start some important role it can ignite from like the people like in different classes and different professions. We have journalists, we have teachers, we have lawyers. Everyone has their own responsibility, because it's when we are talking about like a the attempt that's happening right now, it's like erasing us, like our national identity and everything. So even the journalists, they carry a very important responsibility. Like throughout modern history, journalists have helped preserve and like eyewitnesses testimony, like starting from like all the First World War, Second World, all the history. Like we have seen like how much impact journalism actually brought. So like even for like citizens themselves, like for general citizens, like people in Bangladesh have often been the strongest defenders of historical memory. Like when we talk to our parents still, like so far, when we talk to the freedom fighters, our elders, and that have been the main source for us to actually learn about our history. So now for the professionals, it's our responsibility to preserve in a way that it is actually presentable. Like we need to focus on like Gen Z, the generation we talk about all the time, that are leading the main like force, right? Like, and we see that like the moment we like, if you remember, after 5th August, when we started talking about all of these programs, like we have been involved in, millions of Gen Zs are now also protesting. That they are also now coming on the street. Like you see this, like you see the Chhatralik missiles, like they are like increasing in numbers. They're like 50% of them, they're never involved in politics before. They are also Gen Z. They are coming on the street now. So like it is important that like work that we are doing all, that we continue doing it, and also we try to be more innovative about it, like how we can actually reach our audience, the younger people, like how we can make it more accessible to them, more presentable for them. Thank you. So I think that kind of like concludes like our responsibilities, and like thank you for inviting me this program today.
Thank you, Ahnberg. I have last questions for all three of you. Please take a few minutes quick to give me the answers. I would like to hear, because I know all of you three have different perspective. Looking 10 years into the future, what kind of Bangladesh do you hope to see our next generation will inherit? What must we be doing today to ensure the future becomes a reality? We can start with Jihan, by you.
Thank you. What I personally would like to see 10 years from now, I would like to see Bangladesh to be a Bangladesh that carries the value of our liberation work, carries the value of secularism, inclusivity for all, nationalism, and all the memories protected. And the force, 10 years from now, I would like to see the anti-liberation forces, Jamaat, completely uprooted, that our previous generation failed. Now, to do that, what we need to do? As Mamun Bhai has said, that we need to make our history a bit accessible for the Gen Z. This is true, because I think from generation to generation, we perceive things a bit differently. So it is our duty to preserve all the real life stories of the sacrifices of our freedom fighters in 1971, and make those history accessible, and also that relates to the Gen Z. And then we need to promote our liberation history more, not only to Gen Z, Gen Alpha, our future generation. They need to understand who we are and where we came from. So 10 years from now, I would like to see the Bangladesh for which 3 million people gave blood for secularism, for inclusivity for all, for nationalism, for socialism. Back to you.
Thank you. Tapush Bhai, same question goes to you. What would you say?
I would say that a few days ago, I wrote this article that which way Bangladesh is whether Bangladesh will become Afghanistan or Pakistan. Because right now, after July, August 2024, and when Yunus came and clearly showed that he is actually a puppet of Jamaat-e Islami, none other than any other political forces. So you see that they have unleashed the genie of Jamaat-e-Islami, and all the terrorists are brought out from the prison. When your prime minister, the present prime minister Tariq Rahman, during an iftar, just stands back from a terrorist leader, Islamist terrorist leader, what else you can expect? Now, today, the education minister said that he will not appoint music teachers in the primary schools, but he will appoint religious teachers from madrasas. And we all know what these madrasa hooligans are doing to our kids. That policy itself is exposing our kids for torture, humiliation, molestation. So if it continues, then Bangladesh will definitely become an Afghanistan or a Pakistan in next 10 years. We are already a Pakistan. Probably we will become an Afghanistan in next 10 years. When back in 2024, people always the time asked that what Awami League has done for Bangladesh. So now they are getting the answer that actually Bangladesh was getting protected by Awami League from becoming Afghanistan or Pakistan. So people are telling me that if Awami League is not there, will not country run? Is country running now? Country is running, yes, but is the whole country is running in fear. So for me, if it continues, the next 10 years, the future is quite dark. If Awami League comes back, if Sheikh Hasina comes back, the light will come back. Thank you.
Absolutely. Mamun Bhai, same question goes to you. What do you
Can
expect?
you repeat that question one more time?
Yes, of course. Looking 10 years into the future, what kind of Bangladesh do you hope the next generation will inherit from us? What must we be doing today to ensure the future becomes reality?
It is very difficult to predict 10 years from now, but one thing I do believe in like what we do today will have some impact, and we are seeing some impact already. I do not think it's not because like I'm a optimist person. I do believe that people in Bangladesh, we are very smart. Like end of the day, we actually know our own rights. Like, yes, maybe there are questions about our IQ, but we are not like that level of like if you see like even like how religion evolved in Bangladesh, like yes, like religion went to Afghanistan, Islam went to Afghanistan, Islam went to Pakistan, but when it went to Bangladesh, it actually took a different form that for a long time like we ignored. The reason this like extremism coming now is all because of West's influence. I like yesterday I was actually writing an article I haven't published yet, but it is more about like how like if you see the extremism in Islam, like how it started, the history, it is not created in the East, it's not created in the South, it is created in the West. It's all like how United States manipulated the entire Middle East to basically for their geopolitical advantage. So this Islam, the new Islam, like you are seeing in Bangladesh, that's like not related to our core. So and people are already realizing that. Like if you see like even like after 5th August, there are not that much of respect in general public for all the like Islamist scholars that they go around talk about and made it more like a business for themselves, not just a religion. Religion is just like it's just like people understand that's what they are doing now, and that this is some sort of awareness is created. I think the nation, our nation, Bangladesh needed something like 5th August, maybe not in this form that like so much struggle we have to do right now, but ultimately, like I think people now are aware. I think even if you do like honest and open surveys, like if you look at even like one of the ex-advisor Asif Nazrul's, like he opened a survey, right? If people want Awami League back or not, right? 75% people voted. 75% people voted that they want a Awami League back. So if you see, like, after 5th August, like, what has happened, right? So it's not like I was never part of a Awami League. I was never worked for a Awami League or did anything for a Awami League. Only thing that was concerned after 5th August, like, for me, is like my national identity is in question, right? So I will choose the party that fits best for my own interest. And that's how hundreds, not hundreds, thousands of Bangladeshis activists everywhere now, they are like protesting, not just protesting, they're actively actually working like this is a war for us. So I don't see we are failing. Ultimately, like, we are gonna win, and Vision 2041, that will be fulfilled. Thank you.
Absolutely. You have explained so beautifully, Mamun Bhai, and I think you have spoken for so many people that actually usually tells us we never did Awami League. Nobody's from my family is a politician family. But now, like you said, this is the best party that fits us narrative, and this is the best party that fits our preserving future and history. So this is the only way to go to. So it's beautiful that how you have said it. I think many people will be able to relate to you. As we conclude tonight's discussions, one message stands out clearly. History is merely not about the past, it is also about the future. The story of Bangladesh was written through sacrifices, courages, and aspirations of millions who dreamed of a free nation. While political debates may change with time, the responsibility we seek truth, preserve memory, and education's future generations remain constant. I would like to thank our guest Kazi Mamun, Tapos Kantibal, and my co-host Anwar Shada Jihan for sharing your valuable insight with all of us. Thank you to our viewers who joined us today. We encourage you to continue reading, learning, questioning, and engaging with the historical that has shaped our nation. Be curious. Good night and Jai Bangla.
Jai Bangla, Jai Bangla.
Jai Bangla.